Good afternoon, everybody. I want to welcome you to the December 2020 faculty meeting. I know a lot of years, at least most years I've been here, this faculty meeting often got canceled. You're always in feels like we're in the busiest part of the semester, but we really felt it important this year to hold this faculty meeting because it's such an unusual semester. And honestly, I worry about people feeling disconnected and not seeing each other enough. And so I really wanted us to have this faculty meeting in December of this year. So I want to let you know that on the Provost's website, if you go to the Tennessee Tech website and go to the Provost page, there is a page specifically for this faculty meeting, has an agenda and some documents there that you can link to. But in case you're not there, I'm going to just tell you a quick rundown of the agenda so you kind of know what's coming your way during this meeting. I'm going to give some updates. Then I'm going to pass the baton to Dr. Holly Stretz, the Faculty Senate President. So she's going to give some updates. And then Dr. Jennifer Taylor, the VP for Research and Economic Development. Then Dr. Rob Owens, Interim VP for Student Affairs. And then we're going to finish it off with President Oldham. So I'm going to give some updates, but before I do that, I just want to make sure that the most important thing to me is to say thank you to you, the faculty. This has just been an odd year. It's been a challenging year. And I want you to know how much you're appreciated and how much we know that how much hard work and extra that everybody has been doing to make sure that our students get the best educational experience and to help our students be successful. And so that's my most important message today. I'm going to give some updates, but I want to make sure that I say that. We also have some retirees. So we have, as of the time that we were putting these documents together, we had 4 faculty that had announced that they were retiring this December. So I want to make sure I recognize them. Dr. Deborah Ballou, she is an associate professor in decision sciences and management. She's been at Tennessee Tech 13 years. Dr. Billy Foster is retiring from the School of Agriculture, where she's a professor, and she's been at Tennessee Tech 10 years. Dr. James Martin, in curriculum and instruction. He's an associate professor. He's been at Tech 29 years. And Dr. Robert Galinsky, who's a professor of chemistry, and he's retiring after being at Tennessee Tech 34 years. So I wish we were all together. We could give them a round of applause, but I want to make sure that we recognize them and wish them well, and hope that they have a very, very happy retirement. So we're very proud of them and proud for them and happy for them. We came into this fall, obviously, with some challenges. We all know that. When I think about all the challenges we faced coming into this fall, I kind of think of them in 4 categories: infrastructure, instructional preparedness, finances, and last but definitely not least, student success. I know that's on everybody's mind. Every time I talk to a faculty member, they're worrying about their students. They're worrying, are they doing what they need to do? Are they staying connected? How are they going to do in their classes this fall? And so that is very encouraging to me, that when I am on campus and I see faculty, that's the first thing they talk to me about, is their students and are their students being successful. Those 4 areas of challenges aren't going to go away for us. I'm just going to be honest. I mean, we're going to struggle even this spring on how to use our spaces most effectively, how to continue, because I think it's going to be a challenge this spring to keep up with our social distancing and our face cover wearing, those kinds of things that we've done this fall. We're going to continue doing, as far as I know, we're going to continue down that same path this spring. And so those challenges of how to use our spaces, do we have the right technology? Is everyone mobile ready? Are all of our faculty ready on a moment's notice to be able to teach from home? our finances. You know, we had a budget decrease coming into this fiscal year, and at a time when our costs are increasing. And our challenges with our students and helping our students be successful and stay successful, those are all of those things that we've faced this fall, we're going to face this spring. But the good news is we learned a lot. We learned a lot this fall. That saying that fire refines gold, we're purple and gold, and we're getting refined. And I really believe that. I believe that because I know that we're stronger because of the things that we faced in the last couple of semesters. I've heard a lot of faculty say, you know, I never thought I would want to teach online. Now they love teaching online, or I never would have thought I would do it that way. And then it's a challenge and they power through, and they really like the new pedagogies that they're using. And so I really do think, from instructional to technology to just facilities, everything, I know that it's a challenge, but I do think we're a much stronger university, and we're definitely more agile. I will say that about us. I believe that about us. We're more agile because of what we've gone through. To be able to gauge how well we're doing, or how effective we are at dealing with the challenges, we've done a lot of information gathering in academic affairs. We did 2 major surveys. Many of you, I'm sure, participated in them. We did a student survey and we did a faculty survey, and we've done a lot of focus groups, small groups of faculty and students, and just let people tell us, what are your experiences? What are you facing? And then look at all of that quantitative data that came from the surveys and the qualitative data that came from the open-ended questions in the surveys and the focus groups have really helped us identify areas we're doing things right. Don't mess with that. And then the areas where we can improve. And, you know, one of the things about the surveys is we had a lot of participation in the surveys, which told me people wanted to be heard. People had a lot to share and wanted to be heard. Of the student survey, 26% of all of our students completed the survey. So a little over 2,800 students completed the survey. And faculty survey, 56% of all the faculty completed the survey. If you didn't do the survey, it had questions related to how do we perceive that we're doing in terms of instruction? Are we getting the right kinds of training? Do we have access to the right kinds of technology? Do we have the right resources to be able to communicate effectively with the students? What modality of teaching do we prefer? And the same kinds of questions were on the student survey, just kind of flipped about their experiences. You know, overall, we had a very positive response, very positive feedback in both of those surveys. And if you were on early enough to see the quotes that were kind of rotating there at the beginning of the meeting, those are all quotes that came out of those surveys. The students identified about 175 faculty and staff that they said had gone the extra mile for them this semester, or really excelled in their teaching this semester. And so, you know, if you're one of those 175, you got an email, I know, from Dr. Bedelia Russell, you got an email from me. I wanted you to know that the students volunteered information about you to brag on you and brag about what a great experience you're giving them. And so that's very, very special way to collect information from the students about the faculty. And again, it was very positive feedback for the most part on the surveys. For example, about 80% of the students reported that they're feeling neutral to extremely satisfied with their courses or with their interactions with faculty. And about 85 to 87% of faculty reported feeling okay to great about their course delivery this fall. But as positive as it was, we did get some constructive feedback, some constructive criticism and feedback. A common theme that kept coming up in the student responses was a desire to have more student-to-student interaction and more opportunity, not just for social interaction with their peers, but study time with their peers. And so I know some departments have done simple things like create old-fashioned study halls and really promote that to the students. And from talking to students in those focus groups, and even in my own class, they tell me that that natural, hey, let's get together after class and study just doesn't happen. And so we've got to find ways to help foster and facilitate those kinds of interactions. And I know a lot of departments really are doing that. So we also collected information about both the faculty and the students' preferences in delivery modality, and what do we like and not like about those delivery modalities. A lot of that was shared with the deans and passed down to the chairs so that we have more insight into what their wants and their needs are going into spring. So we tried to take a lot of this information and use that to help people plan for the spring semester. And we could maybe do a little self-correction in the fall, but for the most part, use that information going into the spring. And again, our ultimate goal is student success. So everything that we do in those regards, we've got to think about how are we going to help the students be successful. Now, one of the part about feeling disconnected from their peers and feeling disconnected or disengaged by the students, I've heard faculty talk about these same issues too. And a concern from some faculty, that the students are drifting off and they're becoming more and more online, even if they're in an in-person course. And so a desire to ensure that those students are staying engaged, they're attending class, they're doing what they need to do to be successful. And so I want to reassure you that as a faculty member, you have that flexibility in your class to find creative ways to keep those students engaged, keep them attending, keep them participating. We all know we can have a student attend class and they still don't engage. They sit in the back of the room. So physical presence isn't always necessary to be engaged, but it can be a part of it. But that's going to be very different from discipline to discipline. So I just want to reassure people, that you have that creative license to be creative and find ways to help your students stay engaged. Their disconnectedness not only affects them academically, but I think affects them emotionally too, and their emotional well-being. So just finding creative ways to keep those students engaged, keep them coming to class, and keep them participating. Now, we also have to balance that. We don't want to be dogmatic and create environments where students feel compelled to be there when they're sick. We definitely don't want that. But we want to find creative ways to keep them engaged because their academic success is dependent on it. And so one of the things that we're doing out of the provost office is we're really monitoring closely, the DFW rates of courses, of areas. So if we see areas where students are struggling, maybe we can reallocate some resources, provide more tutoring, provide more resources to those areas. So I just want to reassure you that we're really monitoring that, trying to make sure that if there are areas where students are struggling, we identify that early as possible and then make sure the right resources get there. So again, I just want to say thank you. I want to say thank you for everything you've done this fall to keep our students engaged, keep them successful. And I want you to know that you are deeply appreciated for that. And the fact that we always put the students first is the most encouraging part to me. And that's the one thing that I've seen throughout this fall semester. So thank you. So I'm going to pass the baton to Dr. Holly Stratz.
Can everybody hear me, I hope? So I want to say as the Faculty Senate President that it is an honor to be a member of this faculty because you have done such an extraordinary job this semester. And the senators have all done an extraordinary job. So what we've learned, I think, is how much of our job is all about communication. And so one of the things that I wanted to tell you is that your faculty senators represent all faculty. So please find out who your senator is and let them know what it is that you're concerned with, what your issues are, what you think we should be discussing with the administration. We're an advisement body for the administration to represent the faculty. We represent all faculty. If you would prefer, we actually have a site on our Faculty Senate website where you can just drop in either an anonymous or a signed comment. So there's just a suggestion box there. And that's another way to communicate with us. I do want to let you know that we post our meeting minutes there. We post our resolutions there. Please check and find out what we're doing. And just to tell you again, you are the spearhead for student success. You know, the faculty are out there on the front line dealing with student success every day. And everyone in the administration that I've spoken to is so proud of you. And your senators are proud of you, and I'm proud of you. And you guys are just knocking it out of the park. So I wanted to just very quickly talk about a few things that we've been involved in working with the administration on, and that you can celebrate from the team here. The Wednesday before Thanksgiving off was a really cool idea for Mental Health Day, basically. I hope everybody enjoyed that. And thank you to the administration for thinking that was a great idea and putting it through. We have a policy that passed protecting your intellectual property. So that has passed and will become effective January 1st, including your online property that you're developing from your courses. We were involved in discussions about the campus bonus. So we're really pleased. Thank you, Dr. Oldham, for that. It really does recognize excellence on the part of the faculty in this really strange journey we've had, right? And we're also in a dialogue with the administration about compensation models. So if you have ideas or thoughts about that, please contact us. On the larger, you may not know that the Faculty Senate is involved in something called Tufts, the Tennessee University Faculty Senate, and there's even a national organization associated with that. We've attended those conferences, and if you're interested in this, we have an initiative region-wide hosted by Dr. Sandy Smith Andrews, or spearheaded by Dr. Sandy Smith Andrews, to secure broadband for every Tennessean. And that is, we're working with legislative contacts on that. So that's kind of an update. That's what's happened in the first semester of the year. And, you know, we continue to work hard, and we know you're working hard. Thank you for being the extraordinary faculty that you are.
Hi, can everyone hear me? Okay, perfect. Well, first of all, I just want to say good afternoon, and I'm really glad to be here. I knew when I accepted this position that Tech was full of promise and going to be a great place to work. But as my first semester's almost under my belt, I've actually experienced why Tech is such an amazing place to be. And the reality of that is, it's in big part, it's because of all of you, the faculty. And it's because of your caring ways with your students, the passionate ways you go about doing your work, how you're dedicated to what you're doing, and how you respond in innovative and exciting ways. Now, I say all that because I've seen you do that in your classroom and how we've made adjustments on the fly this past semester. And I know that that's coming through your research as well. I truly do believe that teaching influences your scholarly activities, and your scholarly activities are influenced and impact your teaching. And so I can only imagine the places that we're going to go. I think that it's full of great potential, and I just see that, and it's just amazing to be a part of that. So as some of you know, I've started a listening tour this semester, mostly video chats. And I really have tried to get out and meet people and want to meet people so I can begin to understand and discover what I can do to help us move forward. And what that means is to help you move forward with your scholarly endeavors. So that is my, if there's one takeaway message is that I'm here to help you move forward and to help you with your research and scholarly activities. And so please reach out to me, reach out to my team as we begin this process of looking at how we can do that even better. Some of the things that I have found out, a few kind of spoiler alerts, if you will. I've kind of found 3 themes to kind of explore in the upcoming semester. And the first is really to kind of look at how we're structured and how we can optimize our support structure. Now, we have a support structure that's got us to 20 million, but how do we make sure that that same support structure and infrastructure gets us to 40 million, to 60 million and beyond? So that's one thing we're going to start taking a look at. The next theme that kind of came out in some of these conversations is about kind of the differing levels and types of support that faculty need and where they're at. It's become apparent that there's not going to be a one size fits all. So whatever we come up with and develop needs to be able to work with each individual faculty. It may not even be discipline specific. It may be even within individual faculty, if they have 2 different projects, that there's 2 different approaches that we need to take in terms of supporting them for that. So that's one of the things that we need to look at. A third thing that's kind of come up so far is really the need to take a look at our policies, our practices, and our procedures. So this is really kind of something to make sure that we're engaging in the best practices that we can, and then we're reducing the burdens that we put on our faculty and staff when it comes to conducting research. So we've already kind of started doing some of those and forming kind of some working groups to look at some topic areas, whether it's data management or export controls or a variety of other topics as we go through. So those are just a few of the things that I've been working on and hearing about this semester as we move forward. And I just want to say, and I want to thank you all for taking the time to actually take that video chat when it was one more meeting in the day. And so I would encourage you to reach out to me, to reach out to my assistant Jill, because I still want to hear from all of you all. And I still want to hear when something comes up that I can assist with. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Robert Owens.
Thanks, Dr. Taylor. Dr. Bruce, thanks for having me today. So I just have a few items to share relative to students this semester. And the first thing I'll say is, and I try to do this at every opportunity, because many people don't know, we've got some great departments in student affairs, a couple in particular that have really been at the forefront of us even having a semester and being able to serve students. And that is obviously first and foremost health services. And then second to that would be residential life. And I would also offer up food services. That's not necessarily one of my areas. The Chartwells reports up to Dr. Clary Stinson, but Chartwells has done probably more than what they anticipated, just like health services and residential life. And so the amount of hours that go on past 4:30, it's been amazing. So I definitely want to recognize those folks. But from a student standpoint, the first thing that I'll say about our student population, after the fact that they're phenomenal, I think we have the best students in the state of Tennessee, is that they have, in general, done a really good job of adhering to the policies that we set forth, the things that we came up back in the summer as a university administration. And I think that speaks to the great student body that they are. On campus in particular, students have adhered to the face covering mandates for the most part. You might see them in certain pockets having conversations but that's going to happen. I think, again, by and large, they've done a phenomenal job of doing what we've asked them to do. And I think that has helped us to navigate this semester. Um, yes, we do have positive cases on campus, and we're going to continue to have those. But I think because students have done what we've asked them to do, and you all have done what we've asked as well, we're going to be able to complete the spring semester very well. Um, One of the things that we've realized is from our contact tracing is that a lot of the spread of the virus is not coming. Um, it's not really connected to what's happening on campus, if you will. So it's not connected to uh, students working out in the fitness center or playing intramural sports, or even in terms of eating in the cafeteria. That's been something that we were concerned about. But our contact tracing is not showing a lot of spread because of engagement on campus. The spread that we're seeing is because of off-campus activities. And of course, we can't control those things. We've done our best to encourage students to maintain safety protocols off campus. But in terms of what they've done on campus, I think we've had a good plan in place campus wide, and students are adhering to those things on campus. So a lot of the spread has to do with off-campus behaviors, and not necessarily irresponsible necessarily behaviors. We've not traced a lot of stuff to huge parties. Some of that has gone on, but by and large not. Our fraternities have done a really good job of adhering to policies as well that the Dean of Students Office has put in place for them. Some of the concerns that we've heard throughout the semester, some of those things, actually the provost has already highlighted. There's a higher level of anxiety, and a lot of that we believe has come from the sort of the virtual burnout. Student Activities Office developed a lot of programming that was virtual to make sure that students had an opportunity to engage. What we found is because of so many on-campus classes being virtual, being hybrid, group meetings being virtual, interactions with professors a lot of times being virtual, and then student activities and organizational events, at least those things put on through the university being virtual, students have kind of gotten burnt out, and that's sort of added to their anxiety level. So that'll be something that we'll definitely continue to look at for the spring semester. Something else we've seen is even with on-campus activities, attendance is down, and that has been a concern. We thought that when we had activities on campus that we would be maxed out, but that's not been the case. And again, I think that's a part of the disconnect that students are feeling, even though they may even be living in the residence halls because of what we have in place regarding guidelines and residence halls. Students sort of just feel disconnected and with each other and with the greater campus. And those are definitely issues that we're working on. Let's see. One other thing that we've seen, and this has come from a few of our different divisions, and I've even had conversations with students myself. As much issue as we've seen with some freshmen engaging academically and socially relative to COVID-19, it seems that graduating seniors, and for that matter, even upper division students, particularly in difficult majors, seem to be struggling. A much more increased level of anxiety as they think about graduation. And I think that's because there's so much virtual communication that's going on. We've heard a lot of conversation about or with students around the STEM classes. Engineering majors that are in upper division classes tend to struggle. And as Provost said earlier, they struggle to figure out how to study together and work together. This scenario is just really different for them. And so I think all those things have worked to really heighten the anxiety level of upper division students and graduating students as well. Feel like I may have had one more thing here. Yeah, actually, there's been some feedback on students having a difficult time to engaging with faculty, but we've not heard a lot of that. We've heard actually some good things about students being able to engage with faculty. I think sometimes students don't realize that faculty are still available, even though a class may not be completely face-to-face on ground. But students, from what I've heard, seem to be able to engage with faculty fairly well. And finally, the fitness center has continued with intramural activities, and we think that's been great. The feedback from students has been really good. They've talked about it being good for their mental stability and their mental health. Participation is down again, kind of like it's been down for events that student activities has put on campus. And I think again that's just from the sort of the mental distance that students are tending to feel. But we hope to have more intramurals in the spring, and so I think that's one of the ways that we can engage with students a little bit better. But by and large, I think our biggest issue, as you would know, is just anxiety and trying to figure out how to engage with the students and keep them engaged. Counseling Center is doing a great job with telehealth and telecounseling as well. But I think that's about it. Our semester could have been a whole lot worse than what it has been from a student standpoint. And then I will mention one more thing, Dr. Bruce, before I pass it on. We're seeing a much larger number of students ask to either move out of the residence halls, and we're also seeing some students that are saying that they're not coming back, and I think we may already be seeing some of that impacting our registrations for the spring semester campus wide. So that's been very telling for us. Students have said that this was not the experience that they anticipated from an on-ground experience, and so they just rather live in an apartment than live on campus. And so we're trying to work through that issue as well. But by and large, I think we've done a great job, as many folks have already said. So thanks for the time, Dr. Bruce.
All right, well, I guess it's my turn, and it's a pleasure to be speaking to you at this point in the semester. And what I'm going to say is probably somewhat redundant, but it's worthy of being redundant, and that's congratulations to everybody. This has been a phenomenal success by all accounts, challenging, no doubt, unprecedented. None of us knew what we were getting into. We had to make a lot of decisions early on that we had very limited knowledge about what to expect. But I'm pleased at where we have come on this journey so far, and it's largely because of all of you and the work that you've done, and you've done an absolutely remarkable job. And I think you've proven what it's all about to be part of Tennessee Tech University. We have a beautiful campus. We are located in a beautiful part of the country, and all that's wonderful. And we know we got great students, and I've had a chance to see that up close in the classroom this fall myself, and they are wonderful students, second to none. But what makes any university great is its people and its faculty. And you have really gone above and beyond this semester to prove once again how great it is to be at Tennessee Tech and what this is all about. So congratulations to all of you for a job exceptionally well done. And there's no question in another week or so you deserve a break, and I hope you get a good one. I hope the holiday season is a wonderful season for you to kick back a little bit at least and enjoy the break, but also reflect on a job really well done. So thanks to all of you for doing everything expected and more. We were really pleased to be able to give the extra day off last week to the campus, and it's a small gesture, as is the year-end bonus, and we're really excited about being able to do that. My only regret is I wish it was more. You deserve more, and we'll keep working to make that happen in the future. But I hope for now, at least, it's a small token of our appreciation for the job that everybody on campus has done. And I want to echo what Rob said about health services. All of us on campus really need to give a special thank you to Leanne Ray and her staff in health services. They have worked 24/7 really to make a lot of this seem somewhat effortless. But they've put in a lot of effort and done it with incredible amount of professionalism and grace. And so just a shout out to Leanne and her staff. They do a great job all the time, but this has been particularly challenging. So, I'm really proud that not only have we faced this pandemic crisis in such a positive way, but we've done it in a way that we continue to move forward. We've had to do a lot of things differently and address these challenges, but it really hasn't slowed us down much in terms of our strategic vision for the campus and where we want to go, and obviously being able to put students first in everything that we do, and that has continued on. Just a few comments here about the things that have transpired over the last few months. Our 4-year graduation rate, we typically talk about the national 6-year graduation rate, which continues to improve here at Tennessee Tech. But our 4-year graduation rate this year, for the first time in history, hit 40%. We've got a goal of getting to 50% for the 4-year graduation rate. We want students to plan on graduating in 4 years. We know that that's in their best interest. It saves them money. It gets them into their career quicker. And our students are very capable of doing that. So we're making great progress on that. So that continues to move along. Dr. Owens mentioned intramural sports and fitness activities. So we were able to open up, unfortunately without a ribbon cutting so far, but we were able to open the new Mark Burnett Student Recreation and Fitness Center this semester. And it's being utilized, albeit in somewhat awkward circumstances with the protocols in place, but nonetheless being enjoyed by students and faculty and staff to a tremendous extent. So we opened up that facility. We also opened up for use this semester the new Stonecipher Lecture Hall building as part of the new science building. The rest of the science building is near completion now. Hopefully we'll be moving into that in just the next few weeks and be ready to utilize the entire building this spring for the spring semester. And everybody's going to really enjoy that new facility once you get a look at it. Our new engineering building continues to progress. The planning for that does. We're finishing up the design phase now, and it is listed as the #1 priority project from the Tennessee Higher Education Commission in terms of recommended capital projects. So with all the progress that we've made so far, we anticipate complete funding on that this legislative session in the spring, and we should be ready to break ground on the new engineering building next summer. So that project continues at on schedule and a good pace. And I'm really happy to report that we've just received news of a $3 million lead gift to help make that building possible. That puts us over $8 million of private funding that has now been raised for the new engineering building. So great progress on that front. And after 50 years, I think it's time for a new engineering building here at Tennessee Tech. So excited about that one. Sort of as a companion project to that, on the other end of Sherlock Park, we're moving ahead with plans for a new innovation-themed residence hall. We've been in designer selection. We've turned in our priority selections for designers to the state. That project will continue to move forward, and we expect that to be completed at the same time as the new engineering building for the fall of 2023. So you'll see a lot of additional campus improvement, particularly on the west side of campus, over the next 2 to 3 years. We've opened up our new centralized student success center for new students on campus and undeclared majors. That's in the basement of the library. If you haven't had a chance to visit the library lately and see that new facility, you'll be very impressed with it as well. It's a great center for advising, so that all new students have a place to call home when it comes to advising and know where to go to get help. Rural Reimagined continues to really go well beyond expectations on campus. We've got, I've lost count of how many students and how many projects are going on currently involved in that. It's a very high energy group of folks that are involved in this, and it's really across campus, across all colleges, and really making a difference and making an impact for those rural communities that we so closely align ourselves with in the area. One thing of note from an alumni perspective, and also a board of trustees, those of you that know our trustee, Barry Wilmore. Captain Wilmore is a NASA astronaut. Well, Barry's been selected by NASA to be the commander of the inaugural crewed mission of the Boeing CST-100 Starliner. To be selected as a commander of a flight is remarkable. And of course, Barry's been the commander of the International Space Station previously. So this will be actually his third trip to space. But to be selected as the commander for the inaugural flight of a new space system is quite an honor. And so it speaks to the quality of the people of Tennessee Tech, and Barry represents us really well. As a board, we went through our first sunset review and hearing. The board now is 4 years into existence here at Tennessee Tech. So this is a new experience for all of us with this. All state boards have a sunset provision built in, so they have to be reviewed periodically. The state comptroller's office does an audit, if you would, of board activity and governance related to state concerns or issues involved, and then we appear before the Joint Legislative Committee on Government Operations, which I was able to attend a little over a week ago, along with Chairman Harper of our board. And I'm happy to announce that along with the 6 locally governed institutions, we were all reviewed. We came out of that with a very good outcome through the sunset hearing and review process. We were pleased to receive a 4-year extension or renewal on our sunset. So we're good for another 4 years, basically, and we continue to be monitored as all state institutions and agencies are, but it was a very good experience for us. On a different note, some of you may have seen this. I started with a new TV show on our local public broadcasting system, WCTE, this fall, really an attempt to highlight some of the wonderful faculty and students and projects we have here on campus on a regular basis. It's a monthly show. We've produced 2 so far for the month of October and November. We've been able to interview on the show so far Drs. Carl Owens, Jason Beach, and Amberine Siraj, along with one of the wonderful students in computer science. And I think this will continue to be a great showcase, I think, for faculty projects and scholarly activities that we can show a broader community. And I really thank those that have helped me with this and participate. Diversity is continuing to be a very important part of our strategic agenda here at Tennessee Tech. And of course, over the last few months, racial equity has been on the forefront of everybody's mind nationally. And so it's true here as well. I'm really happy to report, though, a good sign here. The first-year retention rate for African-American students at Tennessee Tech has hit, I think, a historic high this year with 81% retention of African-American students. That's about a 20 percentage point increase over prior year. So it's obviously Dr. Owens and Charia Campbell and others that are involved, particularly in mentoring these young people, are doing a great job and making some great progress. And we want to applaud them and everybody that's helping make this happen. But I think it's a great sign of things to come as we continue to provide a lot of resources and emphasis in this area to improve our overall diversity on campus. The Racial Equity Task Force that's chaired by Dr. Owens has come back with some recommendations this semester, one of which is the establishment of a large cohort of what they're calling diversity champions. So every unit on campus would have a selected diversity champion in place that would help promote diversity initiatives within that unit, and also serve across campus as a advisory group to continue to initiate additional opportunities that materialize in the future. So I think this is another great step forward. I appreciate Dr. Owens and the diversity task force for that recommendation, and we're happy to move on that. Some of you know that there was a very significant group of students, predominantly African American, but there was some it was certainly a larger group than that as well, that marched on campus in October. Did a very peaceful march around social justice, and we have student athletes that are now carrying that message through some of the messaging on their warm-up shirts. For example, the men's basketball team. And I just a comment here, I think it's wonderful that they're finding their voice, and they're finding it in a way that is very constructive and beneficial. And I think they're learning a lot in the process, but they're also teaching all of us a lot along the way. So really appreciate them and how they're going about it. I would encourage all of us to encourage them as well. We continue, I'll kind of hit on some of these. These are sort of brag points. Not one of them in particular, I think, is necessarily all that significant. Every campus has rankings that they can point to that indicate something they're doing well. But I think just the sheer number that we have and the quality of the rankings are really particularly of note. We're one of only 2 Tennessee public universities listed in Money Magazine as best colleges for your money. We're one of only 3 ranked Tennessee public universities in U.S. News best colleges in the national rankings, not the regional, the national rankings. We're ranked number 136 best public universities and national rankings in U.S. News best colleges. So that's in the upper number of national universities. Computer science, we all know computer science has made some great strides in the last few years, and that's being recognized nationally. They've received a national ranking of 154th in U.S. News best colleges, and that's out of several thousand universities with computer science programs. So that's a great step forward for us, and congratulations to them. You know, we continue to really pretty much rank second in the state behind UT Knoxville in terms of retention rate, graduation rate, average alumni giving rate, and we're second highest in terms of average salary of graduates of all Tennessee schools, public and private, second only to Vanderbilt. So, you know, all of that is outstanding. We got a great product at Tennessee Tech. We do a great job, and that really shows off. All of that depends on students. You know, if I had to use an analogy, I guess I'd say the faculty are the engine, and we've got a great engine, but the fuel is the students, and you know, we burn through a lot of fuel, and we need more of it all the time. So recruitment of future students continues to be a really important aspect of our focus, and the challenges that all you feel in terms of delivering education in this environment. You can imagine what it's like to try to recruit students in this virtual world that we're now living in, where recruiters can't get into high schools. Students are having difficulty taking ACT tests. So it's hard for us to get contact information on students. There's a lot of challenges in terms of recruiting future students. And you all have been phenomenal and great partners in helping us recruit students that are here now. And I can't tell you how much appreciated that is. And your efforts are being rewarded. The fact that we're able to do a lot of the things that we're doing now on campus is largely because of all the showcase events and the open house events that you have been helping with. And because students want to see faculty, they want to talk to faculty members, they want to know what it's like to go to school here. So I encourage you to keep doing that to the extent possible, and we will continue to do those events, albeit in different ways, under more safe protocols, you know, smaller groups, you know, limited activities. But it's important, and we found that it's very important even now to try to do as much in person as possible. So appreciate your cooperation and participation. And we've got very aggressive strategies in place to recruit future students, not only in state but out of state as well. And so you'll hear more about that, I think, in coming weeks. So let me just say a few things in closing. You know, we've been through a lot. You know, over the last 9 months, we've been through a tornado, a pandemic, social unrest, national elections. You know, I think everybody, if you're like me, you're ready for 2020 to be in the history books. But it's good. I think we'll all be able to look back at this with a lot of pride and a lot of satisfaction to say that the way we addressed this was important. And not just that we did it well, but we really proved and demonstrated to our students what it means to have that Tennessee Tech attitude, that you face challenges, you work problems, you don't shy away from those things that you don't like in life, but you attack them and you do the best you can with it. And that's exactly what we have done collectively, and certainly you have done as the faculty. So again, I want to thank you for all that you've done. You fought, you persevered, you persisted. You certainly have been bold and fearless and confident, like we talked to our students about, and took that message to the students. It is a challenging time. It's a historic moment. but we've done it well, and we will continue to do that. And I think everybody agrees that, we can see some light at the end of this tunnel now. And we do plan, I think, as Dr. Bruce indicated, we would expect the spring semester to start largely like we see it now. But hopefully before the end of the spring semester, it will look a lot different and look a little more normal to us. And that's our hope. But again, just thank you for your attitude, your positive attitude, your hard work, your commitment, and showing everybody here on campus and around the region and the state what it really means to live Wings Up. So thanks to all of you. I hope you have a wonderful holiday. Good luck with finishing out the semester and finals, and keep your wings up. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Odom. I also want to just end with a message of goodwill and hope, and a thank you to our nursing faculty. Many of you might not realize that our nursing faculty do clinical hours as a part of their accreditation process and to stay licensed as nursing faculty. They work out in clinics and in the hospital. And so on top of all of the adjustments we're making in instruction and research and how we carry out our business on campus, they've also been out in the community working in the health delivery system. And we even have nursing faculty who are participating in vaccine studies and who are being vaccinated. And so not only are they helping the community, they're helping pave the way for our future vaccines for COVID. So I just wanted to say there is hope on the horizon. I want to give a special shout out to those faculty, but the fact that they're already at the point they're participating in vaccine studies, it gives us all hope that we will pretty soon, hopefully, be back to more of a traditional mode of doing our business on campus.